Welcome again to my tens and tens of friends. It is me, teacher TJ. And today I am reviewing Abbott's Elementary Season 5, Episode 19, Trip. The show opens up and Jacob is doing his podcasting club and he has a couple of students in the classroom and Ava is there. They've decided to interview Ava and instead of making it an informative podcast, they're making it hot takes. So Ava is saying how she feels about things. Uh, one of her hot takes was that music shouldn't be sad. The way I agree with that, the students asked, so what about Giveon? And I guess that's that one guy that sings like all these sad songs. Now, my daughter loves this musician, but I myself, if I get in her car, I'm like, girl, turn him off. I don't know whether to cry or go to sleep. And she's like, she just really loves this music. And I'm like, okay, maybe every once in a while I would probably listen to it, but just consistently, no. I think I'd be depressed because why is he so sad? His tone is sad, the music's slow. No, thank you. So Ava said no to that. She also gave some more takes that were not of people with popular opinions that usually tend to agree with everyone else. And they showed Jacob. Jacob lets us know that he's already deleted that episode. Cause what, girl? People, it's not against the law to cheat. Girl, what? The show opens up with everyone in the break room, and Janine and Gregory are planning their trip and they're trying to decide where to go. Jacob is very invested into their conversation because he's broken up with his boyfriend. And then over in what looks like Melissa's classroom, maybe, she is requesting a day pass for her student, for an old student of hers. In Melissa's class, she's happy about her student coming to visit. Turns out he's in finance and he has made quite a bit of money. Then we go over to Mr. Johnson, who is in Barbara's class, and he lets her know, I need you to talk to your students because they're throwing away the snacks that you're giving them, and that's going to be a problem down the line. And Barbara's like, these kids love grapes and raisins. Said no kid ever. So she's like, just excuse yourself up out of my classroom because I know my kids like my snacks. And Mr. Johnson like, suit yourself. I think if we ain't learned nothing else, I think we learned or they should listen to Mr. Johnson. Janine and Gregory have decided to take a trip to the Outer Banks and they've agreed on where they want to go. And which makes Jacob happy because they're working together, they're happy, and we know how much Jacob loves Janine and Gregory as a couple, and he's broken up with his guy. So them being together and happy gives them something to look forward to. Melissa's student visiting makes her happy because it's pretty successful. So she's proud about that. Janine and Gregory planning a trip together is pretty cool because they are actually, agreeing on the trip and where they're going to go. So that makes Jacob happy. Turns out, though, they cannot agree on any of the details of the trip. Although they agreed on where they're going, they can't agree on how they're getting there. They can't agree on the activities they're going to do when they get there. And that may be a problem. Mr. Gregory's class, he's trying to justify his trip or make sense of it, I guess, by discussing it with his students and making it into a math problem. Janine overhears him and she lets him know that basically she's spoken to her students and she's making their trip into a sociology situation, which she has second graders. So, second graders in sociology is not something that is common. So they're still trying to figure out their trip. And actually, Gregory has decided to change the trip to Atlantic City, which is only an hour away. His goal is to book a trip that's far enough not to walk to. So considering it's an hour away drive, it'll take 32 hours to walk. So he's like, yeah, that's a good idea. But I don't think Janine is really feeling that. Mr. Johnson tried to inform Barbara that your students really are hiding their snacks or throwing it away or something, and he's actually found where they're putting it at, which kind of looks like where you would keep a water hose. Only there's no water hose there, and there's a snack, a bunch of snacks, like a bunch of raisins and carrots and such. So Barbara is like flabbergasted that her students have been lying to her. And the thing is, a lot of times we do not think that kids would lie. Me personally, I don't think a child would lie until a kid lies to me, and then I'm like, oh, okay, so you're a liar. I remember you could not pay me to believe that my kids, especially my first child, could do any wrong because she was so sweet, so honest, and all that good stuff at home. But at school, I don't know if I went through this on the YouTube, but I did have an instance where I found out that my kid was a little liar at school. Apparently, somebody spilled some milk or something, and she was like, I didn't do it. And the teacher told her, no big deal, just clean it up. And she was like, well, I'm not cleaning it because I didn't do it. And she came home with a story. And I'm like, no harm, no foul. You didn't do it. You don't clean it. So next day, it just turned into a really big deal. So I ended up going up to the school to talk to the teacher. And as I'm talking to the teacher, this girl confessed. Girl, what? You literally up here crying over spilled milk and you did it? So at that point, I really realized that, oh my gosh, kids will lie to you. Your own kids will lie to you. So while you think you know your child and your kid might not lie to you at home, but they might be different people at school. So Barbara finding out that her students were actually lying to her about the snacks was kind of crushing for her. Over in Melissa's class, she's still debating on whether she should write her old student a letter or not because he's a convicted con. Funny thing
Oh.
is, Shamenti is thugged out. Not to say that all thugs steal or lie or cheat, but she's trying to justify it. But on the other hand, she's looking at him like, dude, don't teach my students this nonsense. So ultimately, I think she'll end up not writing a letter and telling that man to get on about his business. The sad part is you don't typically get students who come back to visit the teacher. So she was pretty excited that her successful student had came back to visit the teacher. So knowing that he is successful by means of theft or dishonesty, that probably makes her feel some type of way because she was pretty proud that one of her students had turned out to be really successful. And I also think she will not end up writing that letter. I hope she don't write that letter.
Next time I'm coming to you first. Okay, wait. Next time? No, you're right. I'm not gonna get caught again. No paper trail. You taught us that back in the day. I never taught you to punch down. I taught you give them a taste of their own medicine, not make it so no milk can't afford.
As suspected, Melissa ended up not writing the letter to for her old student, which was good. And then Barbara apologized to Mr. Johnson. He also gave her a list of snacks that they only sell in Korea that maybe she should try with her students. Janine found a way for her and Jacob to come to a happy medium, at least so she thought, which was to compromise by paying for the ticket somewhere else, but it was somewhere that Gregory didn't quite want to go. And then they ended up realizing that, oh, we really need to learn how to compromise about this, and do what's best for both of us. So they told each other that they loved each other, but somehow ended up fighting, canceling their vacation, and ultimately breaking up. And it all happened so fast that I'm surprised nobody was like, whoa, wait, let's rethink this. But they didn't. They just broke up. Oh. A new day begins, and Jacob walks through the hallway at Abbott, and he sees Mr. Johnson. And Mr. Johnson, like, why are you here so early? And he lets Mr. Johnson know that him and his boyfriend got back together. So he's taking a gratitude stroll through the school. And I think sometimes we all should take a gratitude stroll and figure out the things we are grateful for because, believe it or not, you have something you can be grateful for. And Mr. Johnson lets him know that he's pretty happy and grateful, and trash even smells sweeter since he's with his girlfriend now. And then Jacob receives a text or something. He looks at his phone and it really bothers him. So he throws up in the trash. And the show ends. Thank you so much for watching, to all my tens and tens of friends. And if you are not an official 10 and you made it this far, what you waiting on? Like, comment, and subscribe so that you can become one of my tens too. Bye, 10. No, I think I'd be. I think I'd be that were not very that were not people with. Barbara is like flabbergasted that down over in what looks